on the toss. They'll receive. And remember, the Bears have scored a touchdown on its first possession in every game this season. 60-year-old Art Briles, a genius with his offense. They've been racking up 600-yard games consistently. As you take a look at the series history, West Virginia leads it 2-1 last season. Mountaineers winning in Morgantown 41-27. Baylor's only regular season loss. They lost the bowl game, Cotton Bowl, Michigan State, after being up by 20. West Virginia, Baylor, and we're underway from Waco, Texas. K.D. Cannon fields it on the run, and he steps out of bounds at the 20-yard line. So a couple of things to think about when the Bears have the football.
I think it all starts, one, with their run game, but then two, with Corey Coleman, the wide receiver. He's the front runner right now for the Bolitnikoff Award, and I think he's put himself into the Heisman Trophy conversation. 13 receiving touchdowns, leads the country. And then defensively for West Virginia, we've touched on it already. Tony Gibson, the defensive coordinator, came up with a great plan a year ago, held Baylor to a season low 318 yards. They'll be trying to duplicate that here today.
So first down and 10 at the 20-yard line for Baylor. Seth Russell, the quarterback. He hands it off on first down, and look at Shock Linwood. What a terrific running back. Shock Linwood picking up 15 on first down.
And Seth Russell's got the keys to this offense. Every quarterback that's played for Art Briles has had a bunch of success.
Now Russell throwing deep on second down. The second play of the game, and he hits a long one. And this is Corey Coleman, the speedster. He's a 4.3 40 guy.
So explosive over the top, but what a great throw from Russell. Just perfectly in stride right out in front of Coleman.
A gain of 50 yards. Baylor in perfect sync to start the game as they hand it off to Linwood. And this time he'll go backwards.
Nick Kwiatkowski, number 35. Very good linebacker. He's going to have an amazing day stopping the run. This Baylor team's second in the country running the football at over 350 yards per game.
Shock Linwood, all Big 12 last season after rushing for over 1,200 yards. Second down and 11. And this time it's Russell. Look at Russell breaking tackles. Touchdown, Baylor. 16 yards. The Bears take their opening drive. Only 4 plays. And Russell pounds it into the end zone.
Well, you're going to see the linebackers are all going to move this way. It's going to allow the big lane on the left side for Seth Russell. It all starts with that ball fake. As soon as that ball fake occurs, he reads the linebacker. Any flow over the top to the right side, he keeps it. That boy's got some athleticism as well. Russell, great competitor.
5th rushing touchdown of the season for Russell, and Baylor scores in 56 seconds. Chris Callahan comes in to attempt the extra point, and it's up and good. We told you this is one of the most electric offenses in the nation. And the funny thing about Art Briles, he can find himself a quarterback, whether it be RG3, Bryce Petty, and now Seth Russell, who they feel is the closest thing to what Robert Griffith was.
I just think that any trait of a great coach and a great offensive system is being able to do it with several different quarterbacks and different personnel. It went from RG3 to Nick Florence, who had some success, then to Bryce Petty, 2 Big 12 titles, and now to Seth Russell, who's trying to get this team not only its 3rd straight Big 12 title, but into the college football playoff in his first year as a starter.
Think about this. He threw 3 touchdown passes at Kansas last week. It's the first time in his 6 career starts that he didn't throw at least 4.
That ain't right. He only played 1 half in that game.
That is true.
He's like, coach, come on, put me out there.
So let's see how West Virginia responds. Gary Jennings, Javon Durant back deep as Spencer Evans prepares to kick it off for the Bears. $45,000 in attendance at McLean Stadium here in Waco. And this will be Jennings from inside his own 5-yard line. Breaks a tackle, dives forward, and gets close to the 20. So a couple of things when West Virginia has a football.
It starts with their run game. I know Dana Holgorsen comes from the air raid system, but Wendell Smallwood is second in the Big 12 rushing the football, and they've got to get that going early. And then this defensive line for Baylor, it's one of the best defensive lines in this conference. Sean Oakman, an NFL talent. Andrew Billings, an NFL talent. Both of those guys, a clear-cut All-American candidates here in college football.
So first down and 10 at the 19-yard line for Skyler Howard, the junior from Fort Worth, Texas. He'll throw on first down. No. Quarterback draw. Picks up great yards as he gets to the 30 and a first down. Orion Stewart with the tackle. Now, Skyler Howard is 6 feet, 206 pounds. He's transferred from Riverside Community College in 2014, and he's struggling right now, Joel. 4 interceptions and 3 fumbles in the last 2 games.
After not turning the ball over in his first few starts, so he's clearly got to right that ship.
Second down and 1 at the 28. And they'll give it to Smallwood. He spins and picks up the first down. Andrew Billings, who they say is a first-round pick, number 75, a junior from Waco, comes up with the tackle.
Anytime West Virginia can move the chains, it's going to be a positive play. They're able to get a first down now, and look at this, slowing down the tempo, actually huddling up, trying to keep Baylor's offense on the sideline.
West Virginia lost to Oklahoma State last week, 33-26 in overtime in Morgantown. So they're looking to bounce back. Tough challenge here on the road. Howard near side, wide open receiver is Gibson. He breaks it across the field with speed. Watch out, Shelton Gibson sprinting toward the end zone. Touchdown Mountaineers, 70 yards.
Boy, I don't know how you lose track of Shelton Gibson. He's their leading receiver. Came in with 5 touchdowns on the season, and he just ran a very simple stop route. Give credit to Skyler Howard. It was his 3rd read, but you see him all the way on the right side of your screen, just sitting all alone. Baylor's secondary lost track of him, and then he turned on the Jets for the touchdown.
And Gibson carries a football given to him by Skyler Howard all the time. It's his good luck charm. The football's name, Vicky. And he carried Vicky into the end zone early here in Waco. 3 plays, 81 yards, 70-yard big one by this man, Shelton Gibson. And all of a sudden, West Virginia scores in 1:10, going 81 yards. 7-7 our score.
Apparently they're just going to try to top each other. West Virginia did it in 3 plays. Baylor did it in 4.
So Nick O'Toole will send it away. K.D. Cannon and Ishmael Zamara back deep. And they'll bring it out of the end zone. It's K.D. Cannon with speed, cuts it inside, and he crosses the 25 up to the 27-yard line. So last year, Baylor went to Morgantown undefeated and ranked 4th in the nation, feeling good about themselves. And guess what? The Mountaineers, led by Clint Trickett and Kevin White, changed that. Trickett passed for over 300 yards and 3 touchdown passes, while White hauled in 2 touchdown catches in a 14-point upset over Baylor.
And that was a penalty fest. 18 penalties on Baylor in that ball game, 14 on the Mountaineers. Both teams trying to clean that up today.
First down and 10 at the 27 for Baylor. Shocklin Wood in the backfield. And here's Seth Rusher throwing to the far side. Corey Coleman with the catch. He gets out of bounds. I tell you what, Corey Coleman is just, as they say, a freakish athlete.
He really is. And he's got that suddenness, that makes every great ball carrier dangerous. Even after the catch, you can just see in his breaks.
26 touchdown catches in his career. 2nd and 5 at the 32. Play action over the middle. That ball caught as Russell put it on a dime to Corey Coleman. Coleman with speed, still on his feet. Corey Coleman down inside the Mountaineers' 30-yard line. K.G. Dillon with the saving tackle, but it's a gain of 41.
Well, this is going to be a problem. Darrell Worley, number 7 for West Virginia, is locked up right now man-to-man with Corey Coleman. They're trying to bring all the pressures and blitzes that they did a year ago, but Corey Coleman is making them pay.
First down at the West Virginia 27. Coleman 3 catches, 96 yards already, and we've only played a few minutes. Maybe one of those days for Corey Coleman. He looks terrific early. 7-7, West Virginia and Baylor, but the Bears threatening once again their second drive of the game, 1st and 10 at the West Virginia 27-yard line. Kwame McGowan, the 410-pound tight end, lines up in the backfield, play action. Russell throwing the fade in the corner. He's got a receiver, incomplete. That one intended for K.D. Cannon, and a flag on the play. And this may be holding against Askew Henry or either Darryl Worley. Eddie
Pass
Shelton.
interference. Defense, number 6. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's Askew Henry.
Just held his right arm there, and you see the pull of the elbow brace, and that's what drew the penalty. Gives Baylor 1st and 10 just outside of the 10-yard line.
And when the Bears get into the red zone, they score touchdowns. They lead the Big 12 in that department, getting 6 points 83% of the time. Here's the option, Russell. And he's tackled inside the 10-yard line. Seth Russell from Garland, Texas. Coach Briles told us yesterday, this is a tough kid. As a matter of fact, sometimes he's too mean.
Doesn't want to take the safe play. You know, always want to make something happen, that competitive streak in him. But sometimes as a quarterback, you just got to do what's right.
2nd down. Russell running it again. And this time he's collared. And he'll go down at the 5-yard line.
You know, what's so interesting about this offense and this offensive system, Gus, is that when they get into this area, they're a bit disheveled because they're not in the red area a lot because of the long touchdown plays.
3rd down and 3 at the 5. Here's Linwood. And Linwood will not pick up the 1st down. He's short about a yard, maybe a half yard. Christian Brown and Kyle Rose combining on the tackle.
Or Briles wondering how far he wants to go for it here. To his right, signaling that's Kendall Briles, the offensive coordinator, Art's son, in his first year as a full-time offensive coordinator. Of course, held those duties for the Cotton Bowl when Philip Montgomery left for Tulsa. So the offensive coordinator here a year ago.
So Baylor going for it on 4th down and 1 at the 3. Russell handing it off. Chafin. And he picks up the 1st down. Devin Chafin, the junior from Burke Burnett, Texas.
And the bigger back goes 225 pounds. Doesn't quite have the speed that Shock Linwood does, but Linwood only goes 5'9", 200 pounds.
So 1st down and goal of the 2. Chafin remains in the game. They'll throw it, slam, touchdown. Wow. Corey Coleman, 14 touchdowns on the season. And just like that, Baylor ready to take a 14-7 lead.
Too much space on the inside. I mean, this guy, Corey Coleman, is right now the premier receiver in the country. And when you don't get a jam on him at the line of scrimmage, it's over.
And now with that touchdown, he ties Kendall Wright's single-season record set in 2011. 14 touchdowns on the season for Corey Coleman. Extra point up for Callahan, and it's good. 10:07 to play in the 1st quarter. 14-7, Baylor. Three touchdowns.
Let's buckle up. Here we go.
Spencer Evans will send it away. Gary Jennings, Javon Durant back deep. And this will be Jennings inside his own 5 with a lane. And Jennings wrapped up at the 21-yard line. Nice tackle. And that's Kendall Ehrlich, the linebacker, with the stop on special teams. Let's go to Greg Wolf in the studio for Lowe's Game Break.
Gus, thanks. Number 13 Ole Miss on the road at 5-0 Memphis in less than 5.5 minutes in the Rebels rolling. Chad Kelly to Demorie Stringfellow, 23-yard score. Rebels lead 14-0 1st quarter. Gus, Joel, back to you.
Some people feel that Memphis will be a great addition to the Big 12 if they go out looking for teams. 1st down and 10 of the 22, and they'll run it. Smallwood, stopped by Andrew Billings. And I tell you what, the defensive coaches gush about Andrew Billings.
You know, Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator for Baylor, he was at Pitt when Aaron Donald was first at Pitt under Dave Wanstead. He was the defensive coordinator there, and he compared Andrew Billings to Aaron Donald. High praise. Billings not quite as quick, but they're equally as powerful players.
Had a chance to spend some time with Coach Bennett yesterday. What a joy to be around. 2nd and 8 at the 24. And Smallwood running again. Over the right side. We'll pick up a few. A 3-yard gain.
You know, one of the things he said in that conversation, Gus, was that football has become like tennis. It's about breaking serve, and it's about getting off the field when you get the chances. He's got one of those chances here.
3rd down and 5 at the 27. Skyler Howard, empty backfield for him. As Smallwood motions out of the backfield and lines up as a receiver on the far side. 4-receiver package on that far side. Smallwood runs it, and he won't get it. Great looking tackle by Bo Blackshear. Returning all Big 12 lineman. And today makes it his 29th career start.
Blackshear is a guy that has a lot of experience, and he understands a check with no other backs in the backfield usually means a quarterback draw. He gets off of his block early and makes the play.
So Nick O'Toole will punt it from his 12-yard line. Links Hawthorne is back deep. Wobbly kick. And Hawthorne has it at the 27, a 46-yard punt. So Baylor breaks West Virginia's serve, so to speak, and the Bears 14-7. Baylor with the lead and the football. Here at McLean Stadium in Waco, opened last season at a cost of $266 million. We're located on the east bank of the Brazos River. 1st down and 10 at 28 for Baylor. Russell 4 for 4, 98 yards and a touchdown, all to Corey Coleman. And Russell throwing over the middle this time. K.D. Cannon with the catch, and he'll get it to midfield. And a lot has been made about the Art Briles offense. What's so special about Art Briles and his offense?
It's space, it's simplicity, and it's athleticism. Those 3 things in bunches.
Russell again to throw, going deep. He's got K.D. Cannon, and incomplete. Now the Briles offense is in use at Bowling Green and Tulsa, where his former assistants Dino Babers and Philip Montgomery are head coaches. And in the latest statistics, Baylor is 1st, Bowling Green 6th, Tulsa 7th in total offense in the nation.
You just pay attention today at how wide the wide receivers are split apart. Under the numbers to the near side, almost on top of the numbers on the far side.
2nd down and 10.
That space is what allows them to run the ball so effectively, Gus, and then when they have the play action pass, they can throw the slant passes that we've already seen into gobs of space.
Here's the run, shot Linwood. And Dana Holgorsen was very interesting. He said, if you win the battle against their run, and that's what they really want to do, is run the ball, then you still have to win a one-on-one battle on the outside with the best receiving corps in the country.
Well, they're the only team in the country that is averaging over 350 yards per game, both rushing and throwing the football.
3rd down and 11 at the 49. Russell underneath, incomplete. Intended for Corey Coleman. That ball thrown behind him. And that brings up 4th down. So West Virginia doing a nice job on defense to get this offense off the field.
You know, this offense is not built on precision. That wasn't one of the words I used. And you can see there, Corey Coleman thought he had more time because the timing is not necessarily kept in the quarterback's feet. So he's trying to find open space, whereas his quarterback, Seth Russell, trying to make a play before he was ready.
Baylor, as just look at the graphic, has punted just 10 times all season, fewest in Division I. Galen's back deep. He stands at his own 36. K.J. Dillon allows it to take a bounce in front of him, and the ball will be down at around the 10-yard line. Now today, it's game 2 of the ALCS between the Blue Jays and Royals as Toronto looks to even the series while Kansas City tries to take the first 2 games. Coverage of ALCS game 2 begins at 3:30 p.m. Eastern only on FS1.
How about Volquez last night?
Yes.
Mowing them down. That potent lineup that the Blue Jays throw out there, what an environment it was in Kansas City a night ago. I'm sure it'll be much the same tonight.
1st down and 10 at the 11-yard line for Skyler Howard and the West Virginia offense. Elijah, Wellman, and Russell Shell in the backfield. This is Shell. And Russell Shell stopped by Andrew Billings. And, you know, one thing that you find in Texas, Joel, is that they have weightlifting teams. Andrew Billings broke a 22-year-old Texas State weightlifting record in 2012. You don't see that in other states.
Everything that they do here is preparing them to be better football players all year round, regardless of what position you play.
Second down and 8 at the 13. And here's Howard to throw it, going deep and incomplete. Intended for Javon Durant. And let's go downstairs to Molly McGrath.
Gus, you mentioned that Art Briles loves freak athletes, and Andrew Billings lifting a combined 2,010 pounds to break Olympian Mark Henry's record. Billings told me he started weightlifting in 7th grade and said it taught him mental toughness and focus that he now uses in football, guys.
Well, he uses it in bunches now, in particular to try to be explosive and rush the passer on 3rd down.
3rd down and 8. Howard with time, now dancing in the pocket, and Howard will be sacked.
And there's our man, Andrew Billings, with a power bull rush, using those skills that Molly just talked about to get to the quarterback and get his defense off the field for the 2nd straight drive. It's a defensive tackle near us here, 75. You see the motor. He just will not stop, and the power to keep going and get to the quarterback.
Billings, an All-America candidate. He's also a candidate for the Bednarik, Nagurski, Outland, and Lombardi Awards. As O'Toole sends it away to Hawthorne. Here's Hawthorne from the 36. And across the 40 before being taken down. A 53-yard punt and a 4-yard return. Now huddle up with college football experts in live web chats all season long as a new guest every week, the Edward Jones College Football Huddle on FoxSports.com.
Somewhat demoralizing there for West Virginia after getting a stop and forcing Baylor to punt, something they had only done the 10 times coming into this game, and then their offense was unable to take advantage there. That's the difference in this Baylor team as opposed to previous versions, is I think this is the best defense that Art Briles has had in his tenure here as the Bears head coach.
1st down and 10 at the 41. Russell near side, Katie Cannon with the catch. He'll lower his head, cross, still moving, out of bounds. West Virginia not wrapping up. Askew Henry there to finally knock him out of play.
Katie Cannon, highly recruited, freshman All-American a year ago, and he's not a big player, only 6 foot, 180 pounds, but clearly very strong as he showed on the last play.
He's averaging close to 18 yards a catch. Cannon again. Looks like the same play, and he goes down at the 35. Shaq Fenway with the tackle.
Now we got an injured Mountaineer. That's Terrell Chestnut down on the near side. He's their best corner, senior from Pottstown, Pennsylvania. He's made 20 starts in his career.
Remember, they're playing without safety Carl Joseph, who before last week's game against Oklahoma State, they lost the All-American senior safety to a not
decommitted, decided to come to West Virginia, had to have reconstructive surgery on his shoulder as a true freshman. Lost that season. That's the year that they went to the Orange Bowl, beat Clemson severely in that Orange Bowl. And a couple of years later, after he got himself onto the field, he actually tore his ACL in the Pinstripe Bowl. So clearly dealt with his share of adversity in his career as a West Virginia Mountaineer.
So Molly will have an injury update on Terrell Chestnut as soon as she finds something out. 2nd down and 1 at the 37 for Baylor. Linwood straight ahead. And Shock Linwood gets to the 32. Stopped by Edward Muldrow.
You see that West Virginia's defense is trying to pack the run box, trying to stop the run and force Baylor to throw the ball. The problem is they've got those explosive players on the outside that have been making plays.
Corey Coleman lines up in the backfield. They run the reverse option. Russell with all sorts of running room, spinning, and goes down to the 19. That's a 13-yard gain for the quarterback.
No shortage of creativity There's Coleman in the backfield, trying to get him the ball in different ways, but smart play by Russell, just hold the ball.
Russell to throw it this time. Now on the move, on the run, incomplete. That ball intended for Chris Platt, the redshirt freshman from Willis, Texas.
Good coverage there from K.J. Dillon. He's their spur safety. He'll play on the line of scrimmage at the second level as a linebacker and as a safety. He's probably their best player now that Carl Joseph has been lost for the season.
2nd and 10 to the 19. Russell hit as he throws from the backside. Great pressure, K.J. Dillon.
That's that versatility I was just speaking of. He can go in coverage in the end zone on one play, he breaks it up, and then he comes on the blitz, and he's so explosive on the blitz on the edge that Russell unable to get the ball on the outside because of how fast K.J. Dillon closed.
3rd down and 10 to the 19. Russell play fake. Looking in the end zone. He's got a receiver. Incomplete. Jay Lee was open. But Seth Russell turned him around, and Baylor will settle for a field goal attempt, and that is considered a win in the Big 12 for West Virginia.
No question. Any kick is a win, and I thought he was open right there, but the ball goes to his outside, and he had to spin around. Jay Lee did to try to catch that ball. That ball needed to be thrown a little bit firmer in the hole, and it's probably a touchdown.
So Chris Callahan comes in to attempt a 36-yard field goal. Got it up. And good. But West Virginia holds Baylor to 3 points. 4:43 to play. 17-7 Baylor.
And Tony Gibson, who you're seeing there, the defense coordinator for West Virginia. It's come down to more of how many points per drive are you giving up? Because rather than facing, let's say, 10, 11, or 12 drives in the past, you're facing 18, 19, 20 drives because of the new tempo, in particular in this conference.
Spencer Evans to send it away. Gary Jennings, Javon Durant back deep. They'll start from the 5-yard line. Gary Jennings with a lane and slides down at the 33. Very good return, and Skyler Howard ready to come back on the field. And Dana Holgerson, he's been quoted as saying he wants Skyler to settle down a little bit. He's a little antsy in there.
You know, every quarterback is going to go through their learning experiences, and right now in this tenure of his playing time, speaking of Skyler Howard, he's just going through a rough patch. What they need to do is find some easy completions for him like they had on the first series to Shelton Gibson. Trying to throw the ball down the field right now might be a little shaky.
Russia Shell is the pistol back. And they hand it to him running left. And he's knocked backwards. Grant Campbell, middle linebacker, making the tackle.
This defense was going to be the strength of this Baylor team coming into the year. They haven't played up to their potential. Philip Bennett would be the first to say that, the defensive coordinator. But they're playing much better today. They're getting healthy. Jamal Palmer is back after an ACL injury a year ago. Bo Blackshear, Andrew Billings, Sean Oakman. These four make up the best defensive line in the conference.
2nd down and 8 at the 34. Howard drops it off. That ball caught. Gibson again with a nice move, dives forward and gets to the 42-yard line. Ryan Reed held on to his ankle to bring him down. It's a 7-yard gain to bring up 3rd down and short.
Boy, this is a huge conversion opportunity for West Virginia. They've got to allow their defense some time to get a rest after they were able to stop Baylor and force them to a field goal in the last series. This is a big 3rd down.
3rd down and 1. They bring in Elijah Wellman along with Shell. And this is Shell looking for the 1st down, and he has it. Shell, the transfer from Pitt in 2013. Last week against Oklahoma State, 47 yards rushing on 19 carries.
This guy was highly recruited out of high school. Finished his career as the most prolific rusher in Pennsylvania history. 2-time Pitt Post-Gazette Player of the Year.
Had 39 straight 100-yard games. First and 10 at the 43. Howard drops it off to his receiver, and this is Shell. Shell out of the backfield, and Howard makes the tackle for the Bears. That's a loss of 2 yards.
Good open field tackle by Xavier Howard, a junior from Houston, returning all Big 12 player, 200 pounds, 6'2". It's a modern day corner. These long, athletic, hybrid style of players. These corners remind me a lot of the corners that Philip Bennett had at Kansas State in the early 2000s with some of those great defenses under Bill Snyder.
Another tackle for a loss for Baylor. They came into the game 10th in the nation in that category, averaging 8. That ball deflected at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. Somebody got a hand on it for the Bears. And that brings up 3rd and long. Looks like Brian Nance, number 15. Take a look.
6'3", the defensive end, just got vertical, batted that ball down. He almost got that interception, almost fell right in his lap.
3rd down and 12 at the 41. For Skyler Howard in West Virginia. Here's Howard. Steps up in the pocket. Rifles one, and it's complete. Great throw as Karan White, Kevin White's younger brother, makes the grab. A gain of 15 yards.
And they took the same path to West Virginia. Kevin White went to Lackawanna Junior College. Karan White, his younger brother, also went to Lackawanna Junior College. Ended up as Mountaineers.
White now with the Chicago Bears. 1st and 10. Quarterback draw. Howard diving forward and gets inside the 40-yard line. It's Taylor Young makes the tackle, and they love Taylor Young. He's only 5'10", listed at 5'10", but Coach Bennett said he's 5'8", and he has got a motor and an incredible heart.
He was recruiting him, and he asked the high school coach, "Who's your best player?" He pointed at Taylor Young. He's like, "No, not the small guy." And then sure enough, he was the best player.
2nd down and 6 at the 40. Smallwood with some space. And Avion Edwards, the junior, coming up with the tackle.
It's like they've got an injury offensive lineman for West Virginia. That's Yadni Kajus. Redshirt freshman from Miami, Florida. He's their left tackle. He's been rotating the last couple of weeks. Doesn't have a lot of experience, but a lot of athleticism. 6'5", 295-pound, one of the top 50 offensive linemen in the country. Also played basketball at Miramar High School in Miami. Lots of Florida kids end up at West Virginia for Dana Holgorsen, but this would not be an easy loss to stomach if you're West Virginia.
Jonathan Haynes is his backup, another redshirt freshman on the depth chart.
They had been rotating some guys around. I wouldn't be surprised if they moved Adam Pankey, their left guard, out to tackle and moved a senior Stone Underwood in at guard. Here he is right in the center of your screen, number 55. Really difficult to tell what actually happens to him.
And he's walking off the field gingerly, but hopefully Yadni will be back into the game. Looks like he may be okay. And let's go downstairs to Molly McGrath for an injury update on Chestnut.
Yeah, that's right. He was holding his left arm limp at his side, gesturing toward his left shoulder. That shoulder was already heavily wrapped, guys. He's injured it previously. Training staff covered that shoulder with an ice pack. He's currently out of pads and questionable to return, but teammates asked him if he was okay, and he said, "No, my shoulder is too hurt." So bad news for West Virginia, guys.
That injury took place as a true freshman when he had surgery on it before he ever played it down for West Virginia.
So 3rd down and 3 at the 37 for the Mountaineers. 9th play of the drive. And they'll hand it off. And this is Smallwood fighting for the first down. He needed to get inside the 35. He doesn't, so that brings up 4th down, and it looks like Dana Holgorsen will go for it.
Yeah, he's got to. This is what Baylor forces you to do. Down 10 points, even though it's the waning moments of the first quarter, this is that spot in the field. You don't want to try a field goal, and you definitely don't want to punt it back to Baylor. This is the right decision for Dana Holgorsen.
4th down and 2. Shell in the backfield. Baylor showing blitz. Here's Shell with a first down and more. As Russell Shell picks up 6 yards on 4th down and 2.
Really good vision and patience from Shell. It's not quite there when he first gets the ball, but he waits right here and waits for the cut, and now he sees it, and he gets out to the left side. Executed perfectly for a first down.
First down and 10 at the Baylor 30-yard line. Here's Shell again, and this time, great penetration by that D-line from Baylor as Billings and Blackshear get into the backfield. That takes us to the end of the first quarter with a score. Baylor 17, West Virginia 7.
In the first quarter, so while West Virginia has done a decent job, Baylor still making the most of their opportunities.
And when you take on Baylor, sometimes the best defense is a good offense. This is a 5-minute drive for the Mountaineers, keeping that offense for the Baylor Bears on the sideline. Second down and 15 at the 35. And Howard handing it off to Shell, tries to get around the corner. And he is stopped at the line of scrimmage by Chance Waz, the sophomore from Pflugerville, Texas.
As a quarterback, now you got to think about field goal range. It's not necessarily about the conversion on 3rd and 15, but getting enough yardage in order to let their field goal kicker, who's one of the best in the country, Josh Lambert, attempt a field goal.
Lambert, his career-long 55 yards against Texas Tech in 2014. Howard steps up, throws, he's got a receiver wide open. And this is down inside the 5-yard line, a 29-yard gain.
I love the patience from Skyler Howard. Nothing's there to start with. He's got to step up in the pocket, and now he finds his wide receiver down the field, and he gets the huge conversion there. What an excellent job. Finding David Sills, listed as a quarterback, playing in at wide receiver.
First down and goal at the 6. Now Sills in motion. Here's Howard, reverses, throws back in the end zone, touchdown. Cody Clay.
What a drive. What a drive. Howard makes the conversion. And then Clay is going to be on the tight end. He's just going to head to the corner right there. He releases inside. The safety bites on the run fake. And that's an easy touchdown for West Virginia. What a great answer for the Mountaineers here on the road.
So West Virginia responding. Josh Lambert in to attempt the extra point. Got it up and good. 14-play drive covering 68 yards. West Virginia eats up 5 minutes and 46 seconds. And Dana Holt.
Analysts and experts here at Fox Sports. Ohio State at 3 in our poll. 2 is Baylor, and the #1 team in the country, according to the Fox 4, the Utah Utes. Here's the AP top 10. Some major matchups later today. Ohio State hosting Penn State. This one here today. TCU at Iowa State. Utah is going to have their hands full with Arizona State, Gus, who we saw a couple of weeks ago.
Right now, Baylor with their hands full against this West Virginia team. That ball bobbled by K.D. Cannon, and he falls on it at the 11-yard line. Let's check in with Greg Wolf for an update here in Los Angeles.
Gus, thanks. Top 20 showdown in the Big Ten. Number 17, Iowa, 6-0 in the season. They have no Michigan, no Michigan State, no Ohio State on their schedule. Taking on number 20, Northwestern. Akram Wadley, 35-yard score. They missed the extra point. They lead at 9-0 second quarter. Gus, Joel, back to you.
Well, it looks like the Michigan Wolverines softened up Northwestern for Iowa this week. We saw Iowa against Iowa State earlier in the season. I tell you what, they've got a terrific quarterback in Beathard.
They do. C.J. Beathard, great competitor. Now they lost their best pass rusher, Drew Ott, to a knee injury last week, but that team looks like they've got an inside track to maybe wind up in Indianapolis for the Big Ten championship game.
First down and 10 at the 11-yard line for Baylor. Seth Russell, the junior. He'll throw it. Looking up the sideline. He's got his receiver, and he tosses this one out of bounds. K.D. Cannon was open.
Well, Russell is normally just so talented as far as his arm goes and the ability to throw the football, but that was just a very poor throw. You can't throw the ball 5 yards out of bounds when your wide receiver has a step on the defensive back.
So far, Seth Russell 7 of 13, 142 yards and a touchdown. 2nd and 10 at the 11. Linwood running, cuts it inside with running room. Finally tripped up at the 15. Nice tackle in the open field for West Virginia.
How about this cut here? He's going to set up the defender. That's K.J. Dillon, a safety on the outside, and then he gets inside. My goodness, the suddenness from Shock Linwood.
3rd down and 7. This one, Coleman underthrown, but a flag on the play.
Rasul Douglas in coverage. He held.
Holding. Defense, number 1. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
He just missed the 3 there. It was actually number 13, Rasul Douglas, junior from East Orange, New Jersey, junior college player from Nassau Community College. He was a junior college All-American. Top junior college corner out of New York. He's been very good for them so far, but just had to hold Corey Coleman. Hey, that's easy to do. Coleman is a beast.
Russell near side. K.D. Coleman, watch out. Up the sideline. Finally knocked out of bounds at the 40.
Well, those two guys on the same side, so dangerous. Corey Coleman and K.D. Cannon. Coleman threw the block that freed him up for the long run down the sideline.
1st down and 10 at the 40. And here's Linwood. Hesitates as he gets through the hole. Picks up a few. Shock Linwood.
West Virginia's done a nice job so far. Baylor's hit some big plays, but West Virginia hanging in there.
This time it's Russell running it. And Russell slicing through. Russell, burst of speed. Changes hands. Down the sideline and finally knocked out of play at the 11. What a run. Askew Henry with the saving tackle, a gain of 46 yards.
This is why Art Briles tells us that Seth Russell is the most athletic, most explosive quarterback that he's had since Robert Griffin III. That is great ability in the open field from number 17.
1st down and 10 at the 11. Russell, wide open, Corey Coleman, touchdown. 15 touchdowns on the season for Corey Coleman. He now sets the Baylor single-season record, eclipsing Kendall Wright's record in 2011. His 2nd touchdown of the day.
I mean, there are quarterbacks that would love to have thrown 15 touchdown passes so far in the season, much less a receiver having 15 receiving touchdowns to this point. We're still early in October. This is crazy.
Extra point good for Chris Callahan. 12:21 to play. 2nd quarter. 24-14 Baylor.
Matches this season already. Just to give you an idea how many that is, Amari Cooper last year won the Biletnikoff Award. He had 16 total touchdowns in the season, much less 15 in October. This is crazy.
You think Corey will get to 16?
I'm sure he will.
And here comes West Virginia trying to respond. Running it back is Javon Durant up the sideline, and he'll get to midfield. Very good run for Durant. And West Virginia will have great field position. And for more on Corey Coleman, let's go to Molly.
Yeah, Gus Coleman said that breaking Kendall Wright's touchdown record means so much to him because of how close they are, telling me they're like brothers and talk all the time. He called Wright a mentor, said he's modeled his preparation and attitude after Wright's. He even wears the same jersey number, and Seth Russell told me Corey Coleman going to make a lot of history at Baylor. It's not just something we expect from him, but he expects it from himself, guys.
All right, thank you very much. Coleman, a returning All-American, leading the nation in touchdown catches. Now with 15. 1st and 10 at midfield. Howard Dances out of the pocket, throws on the run and incomplete. Intended for Smallwood out of the backfield. Took his eyes off the football.
It's not the worst thing in the world that was incomplete. That wouldn't have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Trevon Blanchard, the outside linebacker, number 48, was right there to stop the play. So an incompletion actually made them 3 yards.
A.J. Smith with pressure. 2nd down and 10 at midfield. Here's a handoff to Smallwood. Smallwood will pick up a chunk of yardage. Grant Campbell and Orion Stewart combining on the tackle.
And Yadni Kajus back in the game at left tackle, number 55. That's where we saw him on the ground a couple of series ago.
3rd down and 4. West Virginia 3 of 6 on 3rd down conversions. Smallwood motions out of the backfield. Howard looking. Howard fires the deep ball. Gibson intercepted in the end zone. Ryan Reed. So West Virginia turns it over. Gibson was open, but Reed
For the pocket, he could have run for the 1st down, kept the drive alive, but ill-advised throw back across his body, across the middle of the field for the interception.
1st down at the 20-yard line. Linwood running. And Shock Linwood picks up a 1st down as he hops across the 30. Kwiatkowski coming up with the tackle for West Virginia. Shock Linwood, 8 carries, 38 yards. He runs it again this time. He's stopped in the backfield. Great pursuit. Jared Harper, the redshirt junior, with the tackle.
Jared Harper is the player filling in for the great Carl Joseph, who hurt himself last week in a non-contact drill in practice, toward that ACL. He did have surgery a few days ago, wanted to be here, watch his teammates play, but unable to make the trip.
2nd down and 15 to the 27. Jefferson this time running. Johnny Jefferson, a sophomore from Killeen, Texas.
Well, they've had their chances on 3rd down, and they've been very good, this defense. Baylor 0 for 3 on the day on 3rd down conversions. Here's another opportunity.
So 3rd down and 7 to the 35 for the Bears. Johnny Jefferson stays in the game. Seth Russell to throw it, far side, caught, but not enough for the 1st down. Jay Lee with the grab, and he's wrapped up immediately by Dravon Askew-Henry. And Baylor will have to punt it again.
That's a
defense.
Great series for West Virginia, and a lot of faith put in those defensive backs by Tony Gibson, because he called an all-out pressure and played man coverage on the outside. You want your guys to be great tacklers in that situation, because he wanted the ball out quick. He got what he wanted, and then Henry with a solid tackle on the outside.
So Drew Galens will punt from the 22, and Gary Jennings is back at his own 20. Beautiful spiraling punt by Galens, angled toward the far side and out of bounds. So West Virginia will start at the 20.
They've made some mistakes, though. Shot themselves in the foot offensively. They should have had points on the last drive. A field goal for sure. Probably should have had a touchdown the way the drive was going, but it ended in an interception. They got to get points on this series here.
Howard runs it. And he'll pick up a couple. Bo Blackshear with the tackle. Skyler Howard, 6 of 10 passing, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 bad throw, the interception.
It was forced into action a year ago when Clint Trickett was forced to retire due to head injury. So he's got some experience. He needs to pull on that experience here and get this team down the field.
2nd down and 8 at the 22. Dante Thomas Williams in at running back. Here's Howard to throw it. Now rolls out of the pocket, throws on the move, and it's caught. David Sills, again, the freshman from Wilmington, Delaware, with a grab and a flag in the backfield.
You're going to get roughing the passer here.
Personal foul. Defense, number 92, roughing the passer. High hit to the head. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
That's Jamal Palmer.
Jamal Palmer went up high to the head or neck area. That's why the flag came out. And here's Sills. This guy's listed as a quarterback, the true freshman. He threw for 2,600 yards and 27 touchdowns a year ago out of Maryland. Was ranked the 14th pro-style quarterback in the country. Comes into West Virginia. They've got him on the outside. What a catch from Sills.
First down and 10 at the 37. Empty backfield for Skylar Howard. And he runs it with room, and Howard dives across the 45 to the 46.
That's the third time they've run that formation specifically, with the 4 wide receivers all split to the same side. And every time they've done that, they've run the quarterback draw.
2nd and 2 at the 45. Thomas Williams. And he crosses midfield and gets inside Baylor territory. That's a 7-yard gain. Chance was with the tackle.
And Kajus down again, the redshirt freshman, 55. Clearly dealing with an injury in his right foot, right big toe. What they've done when he has gone down is number 70, Tony Mateo, has come in to play left guard, and then Adam Pinkney, number 57, goes in at left tackle. We'll be right back.
So, Jill, I know the markets have taken a hit lately. Just wanted to touch base.
How did Edward Jones come to manage over $800 billion in assets?
Okay. Here's our latest market outlook, and there are 2 things that I'd like to point out.
Through FaceTime when you really need it.
So that's interesting. You know, we had spoken about that before.
It's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing.
Kajust down for the 2nd time in this game. The redshirt freshman from Miami, 6'5", 295.
Say he's dealing with that right big toe injury, because I dealt with turf toe in my playing career.
So painful.
It is absolutely painful. The best way that I can describe it is that it feels like your big toe has fallen off inside of your shoe. Just feels loose, and there's no way to press off against it. And then what happens is, if you have any sort of weight on that big toe and get pressed down or try to push off of it and explode, you just crumple, because it just totally gives way.
So Baylor trying to limit these opportunities for West Virginia. But the Mountaineers fighting hard today. 1st and 10 at the 48. And the handoff, Thomas Williams, and he's knocked down by, guess who? Andrew Billings. And when we talked to Coach Bennett, the defensive coordinator, yesterday, he said Billings is a 1st-round pick, but he's staying. I'm guaranteeing you for another year.
And he even was moving to his left and then got back to the right side of the offensive formation to make the play. This guy is just a disruptive force in the middle of that defense for Baylor. One of the best defensive tackles in the entire country.
2nd down and 12 after the 2-yard loss from the 50. Howard to throw it. He's got his receiver, Thompson, caught and down inside the 5. Jordan Thompson with a great grab, a 47-yard completion.
And you got to give Howard a bunch of credit on this, because the throw was perfect. A very similar throw to the one that was just picked off in the previous series, and this time he led him out in front and kept it away from the defender for a huge completion here inside the 5-yard line.
47-yard gain for West Virginia. The Mountaineers threatening again. 1st and goal at the Baylor 3. Dante Thomas Williams following his blocks, trying to get in, and he's stonewalled. Knocked backwards. Andrew Billings grabbed his jersey and pulled him down.
It's getting to the point that on every snap of the football, they're having to double team Andrew Billings. Whether it's a run or a pass, they double teamed him on the long pass, got it blocked so that Skylar Howard could get the ball down the field. Now inside the 5-yard line, it's imperative that 2 Mountaineers have a hat on Andrew Billings.
2nd and goal at the 2. Wendell Smallwood in it, running back. Here's Howard running in. Howard chopped down by Sean Oakman, and they've been waiting for Sean Oakman to come around.
He was suspended for the first game due to off-season rule violation, and then he's been dealing with a bruised knee and hasn't been 100%. But this guy really is a freak. I mean, a top 10 NFL-type pick. He gets after the passer. He's a career leader in sacks here at Baylor, and Dana Holgerson is trying to fight this defensive line, and now the crowd for Baylor.
Oakman, 6'9", 275, 3rd and goal at the 3. Howard again running to the opposite side, and he's knocked down. Taylor Young, the Smurf.
What a goal line stand. No one touched him. Kyle Bosch, number 62, walked right past him. He gets in the backfield, and Taylor Young slams Howard to the turf.
Coach Bennett said when he went to DeSoto to recruit, Young came up to him and said, "You should recruit me." And Coach Bennett said, "I don't recruit Smurfs." He ended up recruiting him, and he's starting for him right now. So flag on the play.
Part of the kick. Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
So they'll back it up 5 yards. And there's Young. That was a great story Phil Bennett told us yesterday. He said, "I don't recruit Smurfs." When Young said, "You should recruit me," then he went to the head coach and said, "Who's the best player on the team?" It was the Smurf. So a 25-yard field goal attempt on the way for Josh Lambert. And it's good. 4:55 to play in the first half. 24-17. The Baylor defense stepping it up.
Our idea of a nightclub.
Yeah, but you know, the interception and then settling for a field goal, those are just demoralizing series. And when you talk to Phil Bennett, he talks about red zone defense being so important, and his defense stepped up there with a huge stop.
This one will not be returned by Baylor, so they'll start from the 25. Tonight, our full day of college football caps off with a Pac-12 matchup as the Arizona Wildcats take on the Colorado Buffaloes. It's all tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. What's going on with your alma mater, Colorado? They look better this year.
They do look better. They've got some experience. The head coach Mike McIntyre is 1-19 in Pac-12 play, but last night at the homecoming rally, he guaranteed a victory to the student body. So we'll see what happens tonight in Boulder. Joe Davis and Brady Quinn on the call there with Chris Budden.
First down and 10 at the 25. For Seth Russell. He hands it off to Linwood, and he'll plow forward. Eric Kinsey there to stop him. 3-yard gain. Baylor quickly to the line of scrimmage. Russell pump fake, trying to go up top. Flag should be on the way because there was a hold, and there it is. Looks like Harper just grabbed a fistful of jersey.
First, the official had to throw his hat.
Pass interference. Defense, number 22. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
The official had to throw his hat because Jay Lee stepped out of bounds, but he was forced out of bounds. And then he had to reach for his flag, so he was just throwing anything he could get his hands on that last
That's
one.
a lot of work. Penalty problems as you take a look this season. Both teams heavily penalized. Russell, near side, Corey Coleman. And Coleman with yet another catch. And Corey Coleman, he comes into this game averaging over 130 yards per game receiving.
He's about 11 yards away from that right now.
Russell airs it out again. Caught and broken up. Nicely done on defense, as K.D. Cannon was the intended receiver and Darryl Worley just knocked it out of his hands.
Yeah, and the hat came off again because he ran out of bounds. I didn't think he was forced out of bounds, so that would have been an interesting ruling if he actually would have came down with it and caught that ball. But great coverage from Worley, not only using the sidelines, but then coming back and batting that ball away.
2nd and 10 at the 46. McGowan lining up as a fullback in the backfield. They hand it off to Linwood. And Linwood wrestled down by Christian Brown. A 4-yard gain.
And once you know it, they're in the same situation they've been in time and time again. Baylor is 0 for 4 on 3rd down, and West Virginia again has a chance to get off the field. This defense has played their hearts out so far in this first half.
3:50 and counting remaining in the first half. 3rd and 6 at the 42. Coleman, receiver at the bottom of your screen. Coleman, he catches it, picks up the first down, and still on the move, and finally steps out of bounds at the 35 after picking up the first.
He's so explosive, Gus, that watch the corner of Rick Rumpf. He's got to bail, and he's got to get out of there, and he's so physical. He gets him off, and he creates separation. Every great wide receiver creates his own separation.
7 catches, 128 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Coleman. Now Russell, he'll run it with room. Turns a corner and slides down to the 25-yard line.
Excellent decision from Russell. Saw the lane on the right side, and while he had some guys that he could have thrown the ball to down the field, saw the green grass, got himself a conversion.
Gain of 11. Russell, 6 carries, 93 yards, and a rushing touchdown in the first half. Baylor knocking on the door once again.
To make a statement here and go up by 2 scores inside of 4 minutes in the second quarter.
Art Briles' offense, 330 yards, 24 points so far, and we're in the first half.
That 41 points would rank about 9th or 10th nationally for the whole game.
Seth Russell faced with the 1st and 10 at the 25. 6 carries, 93 yards, a career high rushing. And Russell bottled up. And Russell taken down. K.J. Dillon eventually gets him. Also joining in, Muldrow. And that will be a loss of 6 yards.
Boy, huge play there. They switched up the coverage a little bit. Seth Russell didn't recognize it, had to hold the ball too long.
2nd and 16. Russell, far side. That one caught by K.D. Cannon. Cannon will get out of bounds as Darryl Worley ushers him out of play.
Well, this is a huge 3rd down. Forcing Baylor into another field goal situation would just be an incredible win for Tony Gibson's defense right here.
3rd down and 8. They need to go to the 15 for 1st down.
They've got to give Rick Rumpf some help down here, down low against Corey Coleman, number 1.
Russell hands it to Linwood. And Linwood will not get the 1st down as he falls inside the 20. Make it the 18, brings up 4th down. So what does Art Briles do? Does he bring out his field goal team, or will he go for it?
I think he should, and he should because his defense is playing so well. Getting stops, getting turnovers, holding West Virginia to field goal. So at this point, he knows he's not having to trade touchdowns, and points are a great option.
So Chris Callahan, sophomore from Houston, started his career 1 of 6, but has made 19 of 23 since. Last week against Kansas, 1 of 2, made a 31-yarder. This one from 36 yards away. And good. 1:42 to play in the first half. Baylor will take the points on top, 27-17.
Winning game day is all about making the right picks, and I know how to pick them.
And he's got 2 36-yarders today.
You know, if West Virginia's offense could have converted some of these quality series, then Baylor would be facing, consider some serious adversity for the first time this season. But Their defense has stepped up, gotten the stops that they needed to, gotten the turnovers that they needed to give them this 10-point margin. Here with a minute 42 left in the second quarter.
Spencer Evans handles the kickoff duties for Baylor. Shelton Gibson, Javon Durant back deep. And the Mountaineers will start from the 5. Shelton Gibson hits the sideline and is knocked down at the 25-yard line. So let's take a look at how we got here, 27-17.
Well, it started fast and furious on each of the first series. Baylor went 4 plays and into the end zone for Seth Russell. West Virginia went 3 plays, and then Shelton Gibson took it to the house. Corey Coleman with his first touchdown of the day. Cody Clay got one. Coleman with his second of the day. Now with 15 on the year, we stand with a 10-point margin here.
So West Virginia starts from their own 26-yard line. Mountaineers with 1 timeout, 1 minute and 36 to go. And they'll hand it off to Smallwood. Gets to the 30, breaks a tackle, and dives forward up to the 38-yard line. Orion Stewart brings him down after the 12-yard gain.
Clock still not a factor yet with a minute 27 and running. Still a timeout. Clock stopping with the first down so they can be in their normal course of offense. But a touchdown here would be huge. Baylor received the first half kick, which means West Virginia would get it coming out in the second half.
1st and 10 at the 38. Smallwood again. Watch out. Smallwood. Can he get there? Smallwood tracked down at the 10-yard line. Stewart with the saving tackle after the 52-yard run.
Well, they send the motion out to the left. That draws a linebacker out, and then all of a sudden they've got no levels in their defense. When the linebackers walk up into the feet of the defensive lineman, all you need is a crease. Once you get the crease, an explosive player can take advantage, which Smallwood does.
Baylor 32nd in the nation against the run, giving up 129 yards per game. Smallwood, 8 carries, 81 yards in the first half. 1st and goal of the 10. And this is Shell. Blanchard with the tackle. The Mountaineers have struggled in the red zone this year, scoring touchdowns just 60% of the time. That's 7th in the Big 12.
Now the clock is a factor, having to rush. Only 1 timeout.
2nd and goal to 9. Howard drops it off, incomplete, and a flag. Right at the line of scrimmage, Elijah Wellman, the intended receiver.
Personal foul. Child block. Offense. Number 62, number 65. 15-yard penalty. You play 2nd down.
It's going to be the right guard and right tackle. Kyle Bosch and Marquise Lucas. One goes low. That's Bosch down on the ground. Lucas is engaging high. That's a critical error and penalty here now. Under 20 seconds, 17 seconds left. This ball's going to have to start going into the end zone. They'll have one more play to play with here with the timeout before they have to do that. Can't get sacked either.
5 penalties, 60 yards for West Virginia. 2nd and goal at the 24. Skyler Howard throws it up and incomplete, intended for Durant. He broke open late with the ball just thrown too far.
All of these opportunities that West Virginia has had and created for themselves, and they've just continually shot themselves in the foot. The quality series that ended in an interception. Now they get down to the 10-yard line, and they've got the chop block penalty that puts it back all the way at the 24.
3rd down and goal at the 24. Sills, the receiver at the bottom of your screen. He's made some big catches in this first half. Quarterback run. Howard tries to get outside and goes out of bounds inside the 20 as Palmer pushed him out of play. And Dana Holgerson will go for 3.
Got to give Baylor a lot of credit defensively. I know that those are self-inflicted wounds on the penalty and the interception in this half, but Baylor has held strong and forced a couple of field goals on very good series for West Virginia.
So Josh Lambert, Luke Rosa Award finalist in 2014, then to attempt a 35-yarder. It's been good from 25 yards today. he missed it. Lambert set the NCAA record by making 16 field goals of 40-plus yards in a season, but he missed this one from a short distance, 35 yards.
And he's made some pressure kicks in his career as well. Against TCU come to mind. Like you said, one of the best in the country, and another great series for West Virginia ends in disappointment. And when you're facing this Baylor offense, the pressure of having to produce points can lead to those pipes bursting.
So 2 seconds remaining. And they send the bunch formation at the bottom of your screen. Russell.
Timeout, West Virginia. Third and final charge, timeout of the half. Please put
And when you look at West Virginia, they know that they've had opportunities, Joel, in this first half, down 27-17.
They could easily have the lead here, but I think it's been equal parts the self-inflicted wounds and then quality play by Baylor's defense to hold them in those scenarios.
And especially when you consider if they could have gotten 3 points there, West Virginia gets the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about to start that series. It was such a big opportunity if they were able to get the score, in particular after Smallwood's long run. Then they're coming out just down 3 in the second half, getting the ball and the momentum. So just a huge stop there for Baylor's defense. Really helped in large part because of that chop block on Kyle Bosch and Marquise Lucas that moved the ball from inside the 10 all the way to the 24-yard line.
2 seconds left. Now 4 receiver package at the bottom to Russell. And he elects to run the football that just slides down. And that takes us to the end of the first half. 340 yards in total offense for Baylor. And the Bears head into the locker room with the 27-17 lead. Right there to start the third quarter. Gus Johnson along with Joel Clatton. Partner, good game so far. Yes. West Virginia with some opportunities in that first half.
And they missed them, you know, and that's the reason they've got the 10-point deficit right now. They've had some quality series offensively, and some have been stopped by Baylor in the end of this thing, and then some of them were self-inflicted wounds. So I thought the interception from Skylar Howard really was a missed opportunity because he had an opportunity to run for the first down. Throws it back across his body. That drive ends in an interception, another turnover. Then on third down inside the 5, it's Taylor Young, the Smurf as you called him, with a huge stop. And then Josh Lambert inexplicably misses a kick. This is a guy that has been such a great weapon for Dana Holgorsen of West Virginia. And you can see here points per trip inside the 40. Baylor, when they're marching down the field, they're getting touchdowns. And West Virginia can't say that. They've come away empty on several possessions and had to settle for field goals on others.
All right, let's go downstairs to Molly McGrath.
Guys, Coach Art Briles told us that the key to winning this game is Seth Russell's performance. He said he needs to have a good game, and he's doing a great job so far. He's running the ball well, but he described his offense as a whole as not smooth. Dana Holgorsen told me that he's disappointed that his offense is being held to field goals, said Baylor is controlling the line of scrimmage, and bad news for West Virginia. Terrell Chestnut is out with a left shoulder injury. He will not return, guys.
That's right. When we talked to Coach Briles yesterday, he told us that Seth really needs to be good today. We put a lot on him this week.
Well, he's been great so far. 13 of 20 for 196 and 2 touchdowns through the air. But I think it's more important what he's done with his feet. 8 rushes so far, Gus, for 90 yards, an average of 11 per carry and 1 touchdown.
But West Virginia gets the football to start the second half. Spencer Evans will send it away. Durant back deep. And this will be Shelton Gibson. Gibson gets to the 20 and finally stopped at the 22-yard line. How about Skylar Howard in that first half, Joel? Your thoughts on his performance?
It was up and down. You know, there was the big Missed opportunity with the interception, but 7 of 12 for 172 and 2 touchdowns is a very good half against the second-ranked team in the country on the road. So they've got to come out there and find that rhythm that they were able to establish early. I thought late in the second quarter in particular, they got Smallwood going in the rush game. We'll see if that carries over here into the third quarter.
First down and 10 of the 22 for Howard and the Mountaineers. And they give it to Shell. And Shell lowers his shoulder and gets to the 30. And he's stopped by Waz. Think about Skyler Howard, very interesting. Back when he was an underrated Texas prep star, he attended a recruiting exposure camp here at Baylor. They paired him with guess who? Seth Russell. 2nd and 2 at the 30. Howard up the sideline, looking Sills. Incomplete.
I tell you what, this Sills, he looks like a great wide receiver. Gus, he comes in as a true freshman quarterback. They burn his red shirt, put him in this ball game, and he looks like he's played wide receiver for a couple of years. He really looks comfortable there on the outside.
3rd down and 2 at the 30. West Virginia 3 of 9 on 3rd down conversions. Empty backfield usually means a run for Skyler Howard.
That's right. Every time they've been in this and checked, they've run the quarterback draw.
And they'll run it again. And Howard picks up the first.
That defense gets all spread out. Nobody at the second level. They check to the quarterback run, and it's been very good to them so far today.
First down and 10 at the 33. Howard to throw it. Drops it out to Shell out of the backfield. Makes a juggling catch. They'll be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Ryan Reed, who had the interception in the first half, comes up with the stop.
This offensive line banged up. Kajus, the starting left tackle, is out right now. Pankey, the left guard, is having to play left tackle. Tony Mateo, number 70, having to play left guard, so a bit banged up going against one of the better defensive lines in this conference.
2nd and 10. Howard hands it off to Shell. And Shell with some power running as he sweeps around the right side, finally stopped by Stewart, the safety. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 6.
Make Coach Wanstead real happy here because his biggest thing with the running back is, can you be your own blocker at times? And this is what Shell shows here and presents an easier 3rd down opportunity because he lowered his shoulder and got positive yardage.
9 carries, 20 yards for Shell. 3rd down and 6 at the 37. There's that empty backfield set for Skyler Howard. This time they'll throw it. And he's looking long. He's got a receiver. Incomplete. Sheldon Gibson, the intended receiver. He wanted a flag thrown on the play.
We thought he was getting held right there, and there is a left arm, but I didn't see an actual hold. It's got to be meaningful contact down the field, and Gibson just out of his reach. Oh, almost brought that in.
Nick O'Toole will punt it away. Links Hawthorne back deep. Wobbly kick. Hawthorne steps up, and it's fair caught at the 18. So coming up, the speedster, the touchdown machine. His name is Corey Coleman. He's got 2 scores in the first half, and he's ready to start this second half. Back after the football. Welcome back. 12:35 to go in the 3rd quarter. And Baylor with a 27-17 lead. First down and 10. At the 18-yard line for the second-ranked Bears. Shock Linwood in the backfield with Seth Russell. Here's Russell running it. And Russell tracked down from the side. And this time it's Kwiatkowski along with Kyle Rose.
You talk to the coaching staff for West Virginia. Kwiatkowski is the guy that they just rave about being one of the best players, they say, in the entire conference, in particular at the linebacker position.
2nd and 6 at the 22. Russell again with the run. And Russell, nice feet as he gets to the 40. How many times did we see Marcus Mariota do that with Oregon last year?
Very similar, that smoothness on the outside. Now, Russell's never going to be confused with Mariota, but this play right here, you get the defensive tackle sucked inside, then just a linebacker one-on-one with a tackle, and that's a matchup the offense should win every time.
Russell has now rushed for over 100 yards in this game, a 17-yard pickup on the last play. First down and 10 of the 39. Russell to throw it up the sideline. And incomplete. K.D. Cannon, the intended receiver, but Darryl Worley has done a nice job on him, containing K.D. Cannon in this game.
Worley's been one of the better cover corners in this league for a couple of years, a junior from Philadelphia. And I love how he presses the wide receiver all the way to the sidelines. The less room you give him, the harder it is to complete that ball.
Second and 10 at the 39. Cannon 5 catches for 68 yards. And it's Linwood, watch out. Here's Linwood running, and he's chopped down at the 40 by K.J. Dillon, but it's a 21-yard gain.
It's just a ratio deal. 5 defensive guys in the front. You've got 5 offensive linemen. You should be able to block everybody. That's a handoff all the way and a big gap there for Baylor.
First down and 10 at the 40. And Linwood, 13 carries, 65 yards on the day. Second on Baylor's all-time rushing list. Russell underneath and dropped. Corey Coleman, he may have just sprinted right to the end zone with the 4.3 speed.
He had the room again, didn't he? He had the separation that we talked about in the first half. Rick Rump is in that corner. Remember, Terrell Chestnut injured that shoulder, won't return. Rick Rump, the backup corner number 3, trying to guard the Big 12's most dangerous receiver.
Second and 10 at the 40. And it's Linwood. And I remember talking to Coach Browse yesterday about Corey Coleman, and he said, I have to turn Corey down.
Always better than having to try to get somebody up, right? But turning him down because he's just a fierce competitor, one of the toughest guys on the whole team.
Third and 7. West Virginia with another chance to get off the field. Baylor 1 of 6 on third down conversions.
Now, Baylor doesn't normally check like this. Their tempo is normally much quicker, but the defensive front right now for West Virginia.
Linwood on third and 7, nothing. He won't get it. But was Art Briles factoring in that this is 4-down territory?
Most likely, you know, from the 40 to the 30-yard line, you get that 4-down territory. He runs it to get it closer to the sticks. Now he keeps his offense on the field.
So 4th down and 3 at the 33. Golden opportunity for the Mountaineers. Here's Russell. Underneath, Corey Coleman caught that one. And there he goes. 3rd touchdown of the day. C.C. Ryder.
So they were pressuring and trying to get to Seth Russell, but if you don't get to him in time, this is going to happen. That guy is unbelievable. With his body control, athleticism, start and stop. He was in full speed within a step and a half.
I'll tell you who he reminds me of after this kick. Steve Smith comes to mind. Corey Coleman's a bad, bad man. Big 12 history, this is what makes it really interesting. Only Justin Blackman, Roy Williams, Michael Crabtree, and Denario Alexander have done it. All those guys played in a little league in America on Sundays.
Not so little, though, is it?
Gibson. And Gibson's down at the 28. Let's go to Los Angeles for a game break.
All right, Gus, Joel, I'm sure you're well aware of this young man, one of the best-kept secrets in college football. Paxton Lynch for Memphis Undefeated Memphis, by the way. They were down 14-zip to number 13 Ole Miss. They have stormed back. They lead 31-14 on a 31-yard touchdown to Mose Frazier. Tigers rolling right now. Gus, Joel, back to you.
How about that? That was always a bit of a trap game. That coach, Justin Fuentes, is going to get a major job this offseason. You know, we already see a couple of openings at USC, both USCs, obviously South Carolina, Southern California, and Fuente has done an amazing job there at Memphis over the last couple of years.
Layer down, back after this.
Hi, Tom.
Hey, how's the college visit?
You remembered. It's good.
Does it make the short list?
You remember that, too. Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Knowing our clients personally is what we do.
It's okay. This is what we've been planning for.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye.
And with over 13,000 financial advisors, we do it a lot. It's why Edward Jones is the big company that doesn't act that way.
There is a rhythm that beats inside all of us, and it whispers, be bold, be an artist, be tighten up business. It says, make music, inspire, be a hero. We all have greatness in us, and with the right tools, there are no limits to where your rhythm will take you. Introducing the ultimate laptop, Surface Book by Microsoft.
She can rage and roar and crack and storm. But Mother Nature can't stop us.
The new 2016 Ford Explorer. Be unstoppable.
This is my fight song. Take back my life song.
It's the final countdown. The final countdown.
If you're the band Europe, you love a final countdown. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
Kansas City strikes first. What a play! Wow. More postseason magic.
Today, ALCS Game 2, 3:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
34-17. And Alfred Pullum, the safety, is being looked at on the Baylor sideline. Let's go downstairs to Molly McGrath with more injury news.
West Virginia's O-lineman Yadni Kajus just returned from the locker room. He was getting evaluated for a right foot injury. X-rays were negative, also favoring his left knee. He's been running well in it on the sideline. He is expected to return, guys.
All right, let's hope that Yadni Kajus can get back on the field quickly for the Mountaineers. And a flag on the play.
False start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. We play first down.
It's Tony Mateo in because of the Kajust injury.
And they're at guard. Pankey moving to tackle. But just going to try to get back in this game. He clearly bothered by that injury all first half. But now 6 penalties on West Virginia. Only 1 on Baylor. Remember, in last year's matchup, Baylor had 18 penalties for 215 yards in their loss in Morgantown.
1st and 15 to the 23. And they'll hand it off to Smallwood. And Smallwood gets clobbered as he gets to the line of scrimmage. Avion Edwards.
Talk about another one of these freaks for Baylor, and that's what Art Briles wants. He says, I want freaks on the field. This guy has a 710-pound squat in the weight room, most on the team.
2nd and 15. Skyler Howell with time. delivers a great ball and a nice catch over the middle by Shelton Gibson. I'll tell you what, this Shelton Gibson, 5'11", 192 pounds, sophomore from Cleveland, Ohio. He can play the game.
He can play beautifully, and he's explosive. He came into the game ranked 6th in the country in yards per catch with 22.4. So he can clearly get down the field, but now showing some of that possession-type skill over the middle of the field.
1st and 10 to the 38. They'll hand it off to Smallwood. And Edwards again with the tackle. Joel, I feel like I'm getting to be an old man. I remember calling games at West Virginia when Coach Nealon was there. I used to call games with Dick McPherson, the former Syracuse coach. They were great friends, our great friends. Amos Sarah way back then with West Virginia. It's exciting to see. And this one thrown, and they'll double pass it down. Durant, incomplete in the flag. Javon Durant had a step. And Dana Holgerson trying to pull a rabbit out of his hat there.
Pass interference. Defense, number 9. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's a good penalty for Ryan Reed as he keeps Durant out of the end zone.
Reed was one with the interception earlier in the game. Clearly arrives early. Durant, a true freshman from Hollywood, Florida, and he can fly. He's got some jets. Going to be a very good wide receiver for Dana Holgerson here in the next couple of years, as we've got another Baylor Bear down here.
Can't make out the number right now. That's Billings. Wow.
Billings is in here, one of those defensive tackles. I believe he's right over the ball, and he is 75.
He got chopped.
Yeah, he did. Ooh. Both of those linemen went low. Because it's important to note, not an illegal block, because one of them wasn't engaged high on Billings, but both players going low, and it looked like he just got one of his legs, his left leg in particular, caught under the offensive lineman. Boy, that is not who Baylor wanted to see limping off the field. Andrew Billings has been their best defensive player, while Sean Oakman gets lots of pub because he's 6'9", 275 pounds and gets sacks. Andrew Billings is the engine to this defense.
Oakman now has to step it up even more. 1st and 10 at the 44 with Billings on the sideline. They'll hand it off to Shell. Shell taken down by Campbell as well as Taylor Young.
And as an offense, I would look at this just as a new corner on the field. You want to go right at that corner? I would go right at the middle of this Baylor defense without their anchor, Andrew Billings. Start running the ball directly at him.
2nd and 8 at the 42. Shell again. And Shell taken down by Taylor Young, but Shell with some power running. He picks up 7 yards.
And immediately, what do we see? A very short 3rd down opportunity after 2 rushing attempts.
3rd and inches. Shell the pistol back. Play action. They're looking up the field for Sills. Sills! Touchdown! What a catch by David Sills! Skylar Howard dropped that football right into the basket.
When we say David Sills came from nowhere in this game, I mean he came from nowhere. Gets that left foot down. The true freshman, listed as a quarterback, 6'3", 198, had that left foot down. The only question will be, did he fully secure and control that ball while the left foot was still on the ground in the end zone, because his right foot was out of the end zone.
So Josh Lambert comes in to attempt the extra point. West Virginia refusing to go away. And the extra point is good. 7:15 to play third quarter. 10-point game, 34-24. Let's see if the Mountaineers can slow down this Baylor offense coming up next. And by the way, Dana Holgerson didn't tell us anything about this young man.
Anything. Ask him, anybody else going to see action? No, that'll do it.
Yeah, right. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate that. Mountaineers send it away. Chris Platt back deep. And he'll bring it out of the end zone. Platt. Ooh, we almost popped that one wide open. Chris Platt. Seth Russell comes back on the field, and they're going to have to try to stop this combination. Russell to Coleman. It's been successful for 3 touchdowns today, averaging 20 yards per completion.
A lot of them just short passes, relying on Coleman's explosiveness down the field after the catch. And West Virginia is gambling now. Their chips are in the middle of the table. They're blitzing everybody, trying to get to Seth Russell, and that's leaving those corners out on an island.
Dana Holgerson said, we have to blitz. You do what you have to do to get there, because if you rush just 3, then their O-line will give Russell 20 seconds to throw or time to run. Seth Russell, a 30-yard gain.
Boy, this ball handling is just so good. The time, see how he steps with his right foot? That allows him to ride that fake just a hair longer and make the defense commit before he takes off in the run game.
He's rushed for 142 yards. This ball dropped by Hall, Davion Hall, the sophomore from Texarkana. And yesterday when Coach Briles said to us, Seth Russell is the closest thing to RG3, I think both of our eyes popped out of our head.
I immediately looked up at him, and he was kind of nodding like, yep, you heard me right. Closest thing to RG3 that I've had.
2nd and 10 to the 45. Linwood. And Shock Linwood stopped by Shaq Petaway.
Boy, there was a lot of room here. Petaway 36. Watch him make this tackle. I mean, he's out the gate unless he makes that tackle.
Now Russell running, breaks the tackle in the backfield, and he'll be close to the first down. He may have it depending on the spot. Barber and Petaway combining on the tackle.
This is that area of the field. We've already seen them go for it on 4th down once here inside the 40, and they'll do it again here.
4th down and 1. Russell, first down.
Well, he's sneaky athletic, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Doesn't look all that athletic, but he makes people miss. He rarely takes a square hit, and he's gained some very critical first downs here for Baylor today.
1st and 10 at the 31. Russell to throw it down. Underneath, and he completes it to Corey Coleman.
I think he dropped it.
That ball thrown right in the chest of Coleman. So he did drop it. 2nd and 10 at the 31.
Had a little velocity behind it.
Yeah, he put some mustard on that. It's a movement on the right side of the Baylor offensive line.
Snap infraction. Offense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Back to that drop. A little bit on his right side, but a guy with the ability of Corey Coleman should bring that in. I think he was surprised with the velocity that Seth Russell put behind that football.
2nd and 15. Russell far side. And incomplete. You talk about Russell's athleticism as Katie Canna was the intended receiver. Daryl Worley covering. Fans wanted a pass interference penalty, but they won't get it.
I thought it was good coverage. I mean, Worley has been excellent all day long. They try to finally back out of a route as there was pressure bearing down, and tough on that look. The left arm was definitely there, but I didn't see a lot of contact before the ball arrived. Worley's been excellent today. Really stopped KD Cannon cold all day long.
3rd down and 15 at the 36. Baylor 1 of 8 on 3rd down conversions. Russell winds up for the end zone.
That ball was put on the money. Darryl Worley, the corner, was expecting safety help and didn't get it. And Jay Lee ran right by everybody, right into the perfect ball from Seth Russell. This offense is just so powerful, so potent. You make one mistake, and it ends up in the end zone.
5th touchdown reception of the season for Jay Lee. Had an 87-yard touchdown reception against Texas Tech. Extra point is good, and Baylor takes a 41-24 lead. Russell to Lee. Basketball player on this team.
When any pickup game starts, people start seeking. Where's Seth?
Where's Seth?
Where's Seth? We need him.
And he's had an awesome game thus far with 5:39 to go in the third. Spencer Evans sending it away. This is Shelton Gibson. And Gibson slipping. Goes down to the 20. Tried to jam on the brakes a little too soon. So let's take a look at this beautiful touchdown.
Well, right up here, this is Jared Harper. And Jared Harper is playing because Carl Joseph, that gray safety from West Virginia, is injured, and he's supposed to have deep help. So Darryl Worley is doing the right thing. He's forcing the wide receiver in towards the safety, and then he's going to get in a trail position behind him because he thinks he has over-the-top help. You can see how Worley was so upset right there after the play because he thought he had help from Harper, and that's what he's telling them. The young safety trying to get his feet wet, replacing literally a living legend at West Virginia and Carl Joseph, and makes a mistake there.
First down and 10. Here's the handoff to Smallwood, and he slips. Flag on the play. Stewart in the vicinity defensively for Baylor.
Personal foul, chop block, offense, 55-57. After distance to the goal, we play first down.
So Kajus came back in the ball game at left tackle, and he and Pankey are on the left side, 55 and 57. One's going to go high, one's going to go low. Trying to cut. Penalty flag comes out. Very easy call there for the umpire.
First down and 20. And Howard running it, and he will go nowhere. That's because Sean Oakman, this may be his best game to date. Comes up with the tackle, and he is a specimen. I saw him walking in the hallway yesterday at the Baylor facility, and I looked up, and I said, wow, what an athlete.
This kid has all the ability in the world. He has not lived up to it so far this year. But now without Andrew Billings on the field, he's going to have to be the best player in the defensive front seven.
Preseason Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. Skyler Howard in trouble. Drops it off. Smallwood tries to get outside and does. Lowers his shoulder, but will not get close to a first down as he's knocked out a play by Ryan Reed.
It's almost like Sean Oakman knows that he's going to have to pick it up. Watch this rush right in the face of Howard. He just takes it right into the lap of the offensive tackle, and Howard has to get outside in order to dump that ball off. Sean Oakman has picked his game up.
Third down and 15 at the 14-yard line. Baylor's defense turning it up now. This crowd amped. Howard out of the backfield to Smallwood. A flag on the play, and Smallwood taken down by Campbell at the 20-yard line. Also Blanchard.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense number 2, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Oakman.
So Oakman was on a stunt. He was flexing inside. The tackle was going to come on the outside, so he's going to charge in towards the center, and watch his left hand as it just kind of gets up into the face of number 57, Adam Pankey, and that's when the flag came out. That's a huge flag on the side for West Virginia so that they can get a conversion and stay on the field offensively here.
Under 4 minutes to play in the third quarter, 41-24. Baylor, the second-ranked team in the country, got 13 first-place votes this week behind Ohio State. First and 10 at the 36. Howard underneath. And incomplete. That ball thrown behind the receiver, David Sills. Let's go downstairs to Molly.
Gus, Baylor training staff were tending to Andrew Billings' left ankle. He motioned to the outside of that ankle and had to use crutches to get back to the locker room for further evaluation. He's currently getting that left ankle x-rayed and is questionable to return, Gus.
Thank you. 2nd and 10 of the 36. Shell cuts it inside. Picks up a first down. So West Virginia, Joel, committed to running the football, and they've been successful today.
And they get a great block here from the right tackle, Marquise Lucas. He's going to get set up by his running back. The block's taking place. The running back sets him up outside, then he cuts underneath the block. Excellent job there by the Mountaineers.
1st and 10 to the 48-yard line for the Mountaineers. Shell makes a first man miss. Trying to scoot outside and wrestled down in midfield by Grant Campbell.
See if West Virginia can take advantage of that mistake from Oakman that continued this drive on the illegal hands to the face earlier in the possession.
Howard's got to look for Gibson. Here's Howard. Down the field for Sills. Incomplete. That one overthrown. David Sills has a touchdown in this game. He's had some big catches as well.
You know, they're looking for Gibson, but the problem is he's getting double covered because of his ability. Not only is the corner Ryan Reed on him and doing an excellent job, has an interception in this game, but the safety Chance Waz is up there as well. And it's very tough for Howard to look that direction towards his best playmaker on the outside.
3rd down and 8 at midfield. Skyler Howard, far side, ball caught by Thomas Williams, looking for the first down. It'll be close. It'll depend on the spot. Does Dana go for it if they don't get it here?
I think on the plus side of the 50, there's no question that he's going to go for it here. Less than a foot, it looks like.
So 4th down for West Virginia. Howard gets successful running the football from the quarterback position. And this will go against the Mountaineers.
You know, so...
False start. Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
It's so difficult to play with tempo into a 4th down and then have to check the play because everyone's on edge. If you're going to play with tempo on a 4th down, I would much rather see just a quarterback sneak. You run up to the line, get under center, and quarterback sneak it. Because as soon as you try to check, those offensive linemen, they're trying to get off the ball in that situation.
So instead of 4th down and a foot, it's 4th down and 5 at the 47. Howard with time. Howard down the field. Incomplete. Durant, the intended receiver. He was open, if only for a second. And Durant hurt in the end zone.
Boy, they went for broke here. That's Chance Waz in the end zone with Durant. Just gets a piece of that ball to break it up. A hair underthrown. Durant had a step, but Skyler Howard had to hold the ball just an extra beat because Durant was actually the 3rd read, and Philip Bennett knew he got away with one there.
And Durant, freshman.
In the aftermath, a 4th down stop. And now the ball in the hands of the Baylor Bears.
And how about Seth Russell? Look at the day he's had. 4 touchdown passes, 1 rushing touchdown, and he's rushed for a career high 152 yards. And they say he's not that athletic. Who's they?
I don't know who they is. I don't want to be they.
Russell underneath, and it's caught. Once again, it's Jay Lee. to the house. 52 yards. Touchdown, Baylor. Wow.
They're going to fake the bubble screen. Watch this defensive back. He's going to run right by him. And then all of a sudden, the route pops wide open behind him. So he fakes the block, and then he gets into the space, and then he's gone. Boy, it's not just K.D. Cannon and Corey Coleman that are explosive. Jay Lee, the senior, with his second touchdown catch in as many drives.
And this team, so talented, so versatile. But this season, they're playing like they have something to prove. That's because of their head coach, Art Brothers. I lined fields. I started from nowhere. And I want people to know that you can start from nowhere without a silver spoon and make it. And West Virginia will take a knee.
For 20 years, he was in the high school ranks.
And Coach Briles, yesterday we talked to him, and something happened in the meeting, folks, that I've never experienced in my career. We asked Coach Briles, you asked him, Joel, you said, based on what you've experienced in your life, how special is it rather, to coach with your son? And Coach Briles paused, his eyes watered. He got up and he left the room. And we didn't know what we had said. Well, now we do understand. Yesterday marked the 39th remembrance of the car accident that killed Coach Briles' parents, Dennis and Wanda, and his Aunt Toddy, who were on their way to the Cotton Bowl in Dallas to watch him play for the Houston Cougars against SMU. He was 20 years old. His parents' routine was to come to the game and encourage him, make sure that they let him know that they were there before the game, and they weren't that day. 2nd down and 11. Here's Howard, drops it off to the flats. And this is Shorts. Make that William Crest Jr. After the game, Coach Bill Yeoman asked that Briles be brought to a small side room as everyone left the field. Briles knew something was wrong. It never dawned on him. Coach Yeoman said, Art, there's been an accident. And yesterday we had a chance to experience that moment with Coach Briles on the 39th remembrance of the tragic loss of his parents and his aunt.
Spoke with Kendall right afterwards. He had no idea that it was the 39th remembrance of that event.
Howard lofting it up in the air. Flag on the play. Incomplete pass. Shorts, the intended receiver.
They're going to get Waz here with a pass interference down the field to safety number 18.
Pass interference. Defense, number 18. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Coach Briles, started in the 2A ranks here in Texas high school football. Worked his way up to Stephenville, 4A high school that hadn't had a lot of success before he got there, dating all the way back to about the mid-50s. And won a few state titles and took his talents as an assistant coach to Texas Tech under Mike Leach, and then ultimately as a head coach for the Houston Cougars before getting the job here at Baylor. And then maybe the most important occurrence in Baylor football history, there was a young recruit that he had gotten committed to Houston and he brought here to Waco named Robert Griffin III.
And Smallwood running the football, Stewart with the tackle. As a matter of fact, while at Texas Tech in 2000 as a running backs coach, he worked alongside Dana Holgerson. And welcome back to McLean Stadium to Fox College Football, presented by Geico. Baylor, the number 2 ranked team in the nation behind Ohio State, leading West Virginia 48-24. Mountaineers faced with a 2nd and 2 at the Baylor 48-yard line. And here's Howard reversing, fires far side, and out of bounds goes Shorts, Dikio Shorts Jr. from Clayton, New Jersey.
We got the sense that the opportunities for West Virginia were in that second quarter when they had a couple of stops defensively, and then they shot themselves in the foot. One with a penalty, one with a turnover, and they could have taken the lead into halftime.
Shell trying to ride it outside, but is taken down. Nicely done. Jamal Palmer just yanked him down. The senior from McKinney, Texas. How does Baylor stack up with the elite teams in the nation? Ohio State, Alabama.
Such an interesting question because they're so different stylistically. You know, they don't want to just
Shell again goes down to the 40,
line up and dominate you like those other teams. You know, and now defensively, I think they're much better than people realize, because too many people use the traditional statistics like total yardage, which in the Big 12 can be totally thrown out. You know, you look at points per drive, yards per play, and Baylor's doing pretty good.
Howard underneath for Sills, and incomplete. That one thrown a little bit low. Was covering, and that brings up 4th down and 7.
I think it would be hard for any defense in the country to keep Baylor under 40 points. And a lot of their future is going to be riding on the health is in the locker room right now for Andrew Billings, and now he's back out onto the sidelines. You know, if he's healthy and can go, their defense is just that much better, another notch better.
So West Virginia going for it on 4th down and 7, down 48-24. Here's Howard lofting it in the air and incomplete. Intended for Jordan Thompson. So the Mountaineers turn it over on downs. 13:48 to play, 4th quarter. Here comes Baylor's own.
The Columbus Community Players present Freedom.
24. Joel, it's almost like they've hit another gear, 5th gear.
I've been impressed with this team. They're my #1 team in the country, and in large part because
you voted for them #1.
I voted for them #1 in large part because they're the only team in the country that hasn't given me a reason to not put them at #1, where everybody else, they've got chinks in the armor.
Russell far side, ball caught, and what an athletic play. Coleman again with the speed. He gets out of bounds. Well, their critics, they'll say this. The reason, and there is a flag on the play as you take another look at Coleman. Wow, he's got a 45-inch vertical, runs a 4.3. Their critics say they play a cupcake schedule before Big 12 play starts. This year, SMU, Lamar, and Rice.
I think the rebuttal would be they did to those teams what great teams should do to those teams. They blew them out in the first half. They didn't hang around and then, you know, get it go. They blew them out from the get-go. And I've always had a problem with people criticizing the schedule because the kids don't make the schedule. If I'm a player, I prepare all offseason, all fall camp, put in hours and hours and hours of work.
There is no foul for a late hit. 1st down.
Hours of work. And then they tell me, hey, here's your game. This is the one you're going to... Toledo beat Arkansas, for crying out loud, earlier this year. I mean, Arkansas State hung with Missouri, for crying out loud. I just, as a player, you got the games on your schedule and you're going to go and play them. So as a player and a former player, I say if you want to criticize that schedule, you put on a helmet. You go put 70
but it's not
on
the
those
kids
teams.
that are being criticized. It's the coach for making the schedule.
And I understand that. And that's the nature of the sport now with the resume type of argument that we get into as the college football playoff rankings loom here in the first part of November.
2nd down and 10 at the 30-yard line. Russell underneath, incomplete. And if you think about it, when you look at the top teams, they don't really play very difficult schedules. I mean, Ohio State, their hardest game was against Virginia Tech. They played Western Michigan, some other softer teams.
If you want to look for one of the more difficult schedules in a comprehensive fashion, Michigan, you know, at Utah, hosting Oregon State, a Pac-12 opponent, BYU when they were ranked. You know, so I think that the schedule argument gets played out, and then those in the SEC are going to argue schedule, and then they're going to have the directional schools in November.
Here's Russell again, and it's caught by K.D. Cannon. First down, Baylor.
Everybody has scheduling quirks. The Big 12 plays 9 conference games. The SEC plays 8. The Pac-12 plays 9 conference games and a conference championship. It's just the inequities of college football. And these kids have an opportunity to play the schedule that was given to them, and they've gone out and they've dominated that schedule. Like I said, they're the only team in the country that has not given me a reason to not put them at number 1, to throw you a couple of double negatives there.
Okay, are they the best team in the country?
Right now they are. There's not a team in the country that could walk into McLean Stadium next week and beat this team.
Baylor has won 18 straight home games, including 8 here at McLean. The longest active streak in FBS. Boise State and Florida State are sitting at 17 consecutive home wins.
There's a bunch of people in Fort Worth real upset with my last comment.
And we'll see them again soon. First down and 10 at the 19. Far side, and look at Cannon going up high and bringing it down. He can do everything. He can do everything. And you know they don't ask him to do a lot, but I'm sure that when he gets to Sunday games, he'll be doing it all.
You know, Coach Brown says, well, he hopes Corey Coleman stays for next year. I think he might be hoping for hope's sake at this, at this point.
First down and goal to 9, and this is Shock Linwood running. Stopped by Jared Barber.
Gus, just to finish that thought, I had Utah number 2 and TCU number 3. Those would be my 3 best teams in the country. Utah has been sensational, and they're going to be in a fight tonight against Arizona State at home.
Second down and goal at the 11. I think you're off the mark with Utah at number 2.
Where would you have them?
6. Here's Russell, option, Linwood. Touchdown, Baylor. An embarrassment of riches for Art Briles here at Baylor.
Just thinking to myself, what do you do if you stop Corey Coleman? You still got to deal with Seth Russell and Shock Linwood. Linwood showing some explosiveness and strength. Yards after the catch to get in the end zone and push Baylor past the 50-point mark.
I mean, Jay Lee, K.D. Cannon, Corey Coleman, Shock Linwood, Devin Chafin, and Seth Russell just.
That they're one of the first 3 or 4 college football programs that you would mention nationally. That's the trajectory that he wants.
So this is Gibson in the corner, and he lets it go out of play. And Art Briles, he said, we're going after the 15 to 25-year-olds, meaning if you ask a 15 to a 25-year-old 8 years from now who are the national powers in the nation, they'll say Baylor.
That's right. Because right now the old guard is still going to give you, all the traditional blue bloods. The Ohio States, the Oklahomas, the Alabamas, the USCs, the Michigans, and that's great, and that's college football, and I love that too. Throw Notre Dame in there, Oklahoma, but Art Briles says, why not us? Making a compelling argument here in the last few years.
First down at 10 to 25. Smallwood. And Smallwood trying to break it back, and he's taken down by Taylor Young, the Smurf. Listed at 5'10", he's only 5'8", but has the heart of a lion.
This defense is the difference for Baylor. And again, their points per game are never going to reflect a dominant defense, but they see so many more plays because of the tempo of their offense, so many more drives. You have to use other metrics to rate this defense.
Second down and 13. Howard lofting it in the air for Gibson. Right off his fingertips. And that one will haunt him in the film room.
Got the step, got the opportunity, but like so many times before today for West Virginia, when they got their opportunity, they were unable to convert. I said this before, but Gus, that's the pressure of playing Baylor. They force you to capitalize on every possible opportunity that you get because their offense just kills you with points.
Third down and 13. And this one lofted over the middle and broken up. Terrific job by number 28, Orion Stewart. Local kid from Waco. Smallwood looked like he was open.
Orion Stewart, one of the many players on this defense that are actually from Waco, played high school football at nearby Midway High School, so right in the shadow here in McLean Stadium.
Lynx Hawthorne back deep as Nickel Toole sends it away. And fair caught at the 32-yard line. 55-24, fourth quarter. Here comes Baylor on offense once again. Your thoughts, you live in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on what's taking place at SC.
You know, I think regardless of what has happened, you know, they need to look forward. Not just for the benefit of their current team, which those kids deserve every opportunity to succeed right now. And so they got to put everything into this team and this version of the USC Trojans moving forward. But then looking forward, they've got to go hire the best coach they possibly can.
Here's Russell sliding down.
And that goes without being said, I know, but because too many times programs, they get prideful and they say, well, we have to get a guy with
from within
ties or West Coast ties or, you know, a Pete Carroll guy or not a Pete Carroll guy, and they put themselves into a corner. And when you look at some of the great hires around college football and how they were made by selecting the best possible candidate.
Johnny Jefferson, the ball carrier.
How about this guy?
Well, that's tough. You know, he's got such a great recruiting advantage because of his background as a Texas high school football coach. They all respect him so much. I don't know if Art Briles would have the same type of advantage at USC that he does here. The way that he can go in and get the respect of those coaches and recruit the state of Texas the way he does or has for the last 6 or 8 years. Now, if I was USC, I would call him because I think he's one of the best coaches in America.
Also a name being thrown out there, Kevin Sumlin at Texas A&M.
I would uncover every stone. Listen, if I was USC, if anyone wanted to flirt with us, I'd be calling them. Nick Saban would get a call. Brian Kelly at Notre Dame, even though they're a rival, would get a call. Jim Mora across town would get a call.
Just don't call Jim Harbaugh. He's taken. Okay? That's our guy. Third down and 5 to the 49. He's not interested. I'll speak for Coach Harbaugh. Here's Russell. And Katie Kent with the grab. Has it knocked out of his hands as he gets out of bounds.
Yeah, why are you trying to downgrade Utah? That looks good for your Wolverines. You got to keep them up there.
I mean, you ranked him, and you're a voter, number 2. I just don't see them being the number 2 team in the nation.
Well, that devalues the Wolverines.
That's okay. I mean, they'll be fine when it's all said and done.
You sound like everyone that follows me on Twitter. I don't think they should be number 2, Joel.
Well, maybe they're right. First down.
You know what? Most of them are.
Most of them are, yeah. You're much smarter than us. First down and 10, 38. And Johnny Jefferson running the football. There's Russell. What a game. 380 yards, 5 touchdowns, 14 carries, 160 yards rushing, and a touchdown.
And when opposing teams turn on the film and they see him, they're not going to know what to do with themselves. The next game they have is Iowa State. Corey Coleman now out of the game. 10 catches, 199 and 3 touchdowns. His 16 touchdowns now in the season. Coming into the week would have been more than everybody but 6 teams in the FBS.
3 touchdowns today. Johnny Jefferson running, and Preston makes the tackle.
I want to make sure that I gave that their due. He himself has caught more touchdowns than what 6 teams came into this week having caught.
Wow. What a player, athlete, intelligent. Third down and 10 at the 38. Option. Jefferson, and he's out of bounds. New quarterback in for Baylor.
Jarrett Stidham. Stidham's the guy who is going to fall in this line that they've had the lineage of great quarterbacks from RG3 to Nick Florence to Bryce Petty to now Seth Russell. And now Stidham's going to get his opportunity to get his feet wet. Just a true freshman from Stephenville, Texas. Blue chip recruit, top 50 national prospect. He did graduate high school early and was here on campus last January, part of this program.
And Stidham played the whole second half against Kansas last week, ended up 9 of 10. 117 yards and 2 touchdowns.
130 yards now. Bill's got a very tough lie here. Looks like we have some sort of sea monster in the water hazard here. I believe that's a kraken.
But you have to, compliment Coach Holgerson because his team came in prepared. Just too many weapons for Art Briles.
And West Virginia is just in the middle of this tough schedule. Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Baylor, TCU. Those are the 4 games they lost to Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, tight ball games.
4th down and 7, and here's the run by Stidham. And he's stopped by Jeremy Tyler. So West Virginia will get the football. Today, it's game 2 of the ALCS between the Blue Jays and the Royals as Toronto looks to even the series while Kansas City tries to take the first 2 games. Coverage of ALCS game 2 begins at 3:30 p.m. Eastern only on FS1.
Hey, what did you think of Joey bat flip?
It was cool. I thought it was great. I didn't think anything was wrong with it. I know I was reading something about Rick Sutcliffe. He said he wouldn't have made it around second base if he would have done it during his time as a player. They swing this one out. And Chris Jr. with the catch. Gets to the 40. I liked it. It was emotional. It was a huge moment. I don't think he was trying to show up anybody. And why are we being so sensitive to these pitchers all the time? He gave up the home run.
Listen, I get it. And being a former ball player myself, I'll just tell you that too many times big leaguers always have the mentality that it's June 3rd. They don't understand that because everything tries to be the same. You try to be the same all the time, whereas in a game like that and the emotions riding out, I think you're well within your rights to celebrate like Joey Bats did.
And Skyler Howard chased out of play.
Now, if he did that some random afternoon game in June, I could see Rick Sutcliffe's opinion because there's so many games, you don't want that type of attitude thrown again. You see him 18 times. Imagine if Baylor and TCU played 18 times. You just couldn't be at each other's throat for 18 games during the course of a season.
3rd down and 4 at the 38. Fired a nice ball. White with the reception and still moving, and he's dragged down at the 37-yard line.
I like Karan White. Of course, younger brother of Kevin White, now with the Bears. Great All-American for West Virginia a year ago, and Skyler Howard with a good rhythm here on this series.
1st down and 10 at the 37. Howard again to throw. Now steps up, they'll extra run it. And Howard gets out of bounds at the 20.
Part of the learning process. I like what I see right there from Howard. I know the score is 55-24, but he made a mistake earlier in the game not running it. And then what he does is he did not make that mistake twice. Opportunity presents itself to move the chains with his feet. Gets it done and gets himself out of bounds.
1st and 10 at the 20. Hit as he throws, and he got crushed. Taylor Young popped him hard. All 5'8", 225 pounds.
He came off the left side, and boy, just right as he released it. Young's got some explosiveness to him. Last year, Defensive Newcomer of the Year and Freshman All-American. You can see why. Playmaker.
Crest can't make the reception out of the backfield. And they line up Taylor Young a little bit everywhere. They'll put him on the defensive line and let him rush the passer.
Yeah, I love that. And they just started doing that the last couple of weeks. Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator, kind of stumbled on this new defensive package that he runs where he plays with 3 down linemen, and then he uses Taylor Young as the 4th defensive end, if you will, but he puts him in a 2-point stance. It allows for a lot of versatility as it relates to their rush game and how they blitz the quarterback.
3rd down at 10 of the 20. Howard lofts one up to White in the end zone. Flag on the play. Incomplete pass.
Pass interference. Defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
That's Xavier Howard.
I thought there was a lot of contact on both ways, but it was White that was trying to get away from him, and that hand all over the chest of White. Howard clearly there with that whole handful of White's jersey. Still almost brought it in there as well. I thought that was a great call by the officials.
So 1st down and goal at the 5 for West Virginia. In the corner. Incomplete. Shorts, the intended receiver.
They've had so much trouble inside the 10-yard line, and this is exactly the way Phil Bennett, the defense coordinator for Baylor, has drawn it up. You know, he does, if you move the ball in the middle of the field, he really doesn't care. He doesn't care if he gives up 500 yards of offense, but when you get down to the 5-yard line, he wants to make sure you're kicking field goals rather than scoring touchdowns, because he knows his offense is going to score a lot of points. If he feels like he's trading touchdowns for field goals, then they're going to win the game, and that's all that matters to him.
2nd and goal at the 5. Play action over the middle. And Shorts, did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Touchdown, West Virginia.
Great catch. Great grab from Shorts. Last 2 trips down inside the 10, they were trying to run the football. Clearly that didn't work, so now they went to the play action pass. Ball was a little high. Shorts went up and got it. That's a great catch for the touchdown.
Keo Shorts, Jr. He makes it a 55-30 game. They thought about going for 2, but now they send the kicker Josh Lambert onto the field.
Offense. That penalty's declined. Try for point.
How about that? I think Art was daring him. Hey, you thought about it, go for 2. I thought I heard him like a lip read well enough to shout over to go for 2.
Extra point good. 4:54 to go. 55-31. With a 55-31 lead on West Virginia. Under 5 minutes to play in the 4th. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt with you. Molly McGrath from Waco, Texas. And we've had a lot of fun in Waco this last couple of days, Joel. I know you went to Rudy's yesterday, got some barbecue. I went to Luby's.
Well, this is
as always
a big trip for us on this crew, because this is where the great Gus Johnson got his start.
Oh man,
right here in Waco, Texas.
That's right. KXXV Channel 25. I had a chance to visit with John Morris, local TV legend here in Waco. Onside kick getting ready to be tried. And it's recovered by West Virginia. Mountaineers came up as Harper gobbled it up. Jared Harper, backup safety.
Baylor did not execute that very well. The front line of any hands team, if you're getting an onside kick run against you, the front line has to go and just stop the rush, stop the opposing team, and the back line then goes and receives the kick. Anytime that the front guy tries to receive the kick, it normally ends up in the hands of the opposition. Does here for West Virginia. A 55-31, just under 5 minutes left. They're going to have to score in a hurry here if they want to make this a game.
First down and 10 at the 46. And they'll swing it out to the far side. Incomplete once again. That's the second time Crest has dropped that particular route.
I always thought that was the most difficult route to throw as a quarterback, because you're turning yourself a full, call it 90 degrees, and then you've got to put the ball basically in a thimble because of the way that the running back is running on that swing route. Very difficult to complete.
Second and 10. Howard hit as he throws, and incomplete. Ryan Reed trying to track it down for Baylor.
Baylor just continues to bring this pressure. Phil Bennett continuing to blitz Howard so that he has to get the ball out of his hands quickly, not allowing him to sit in the pocket.
Now new quarterback in, William Crest, as they take Howard out of the game.
Yeah, I think that last hit, you know, he took that hit and Dana Holgerson said, all right, that's probably enough for today. I don't need to see this kid take a beating down 55-31.
Crest, redshirt freshman from Baltimore, throwing it, and incomplete. Intended for White. And so Crest comes in for Skyler Howard, and as you take a look at the numbers for him today, got close to 300 yards, 4 touchdown passes. He did throw the interception, rushed for 41 yards.
It's normally a very good day, but the margin for error against Baylor is next to 0.
Fourth down and 10. And incomplete. So West Virginia turns it over on downs with 4:35 to go. Now let's go to Los Angeles for a game break.
All right, other Big 12 action. This just wrapped up on FS1. Kansas winless since last November, down 20-0 at the half to Texas Tech. They'd cut it to 3, but then Ryan Willis picked off by Jashawn Johnson. He takes it 27 yards for the pick 6, and Texas Tech hangs on to win 30-20. Gus, Joel, back to you.
Art Browse, when we talked about Texas Tech, he has a lot of respect for the Red Raiders and the way they do things.
This Baylor team beat Texas Tech 63-35. That game was up in Arlington in Cowboy Stadium.
And this is Terrence Williams running. Art Briles headset's off now. He doesn't call the plays. His son calls the plays. This is a pretty good player for the University of Texas and for Houston for Coach Briles, Kendall Briles.
You know, I love what they do here. You talk about preparing your staff, as the Baylor fans want a horse collar tackle there, but see Kendall Briles there is talking with the wide receivers, and he's calling some plays right now. In the last 7 years he's been on the staff, and he's been allowed to call plays not as the offensive coordinator, but with the 2 unit whenever they were going. So situations like this for Baylor, when the number 2 offense, the backups would go in, Kendall Briles would call the plays.
Instead of running the football, and he gets down at the 28. Took a hard hit. Harper.
I was surprised with a first-year offensive coordinator they could run with such efficiency, be so productive, and then, you know, to learn that. I've not heard that anywhere else in the country, where someone other than the offensive coordinator would actually call plays during the course of live games. They also do it in practice. Anytime the backups are in there, A different coach calls for the backups, and Kendall handles the one offense. And that's just preparing coaches to be successful later in their career.
Terrence Williams running the football, and talking to Coach Browse yesterday, he said Kendall's, yeah, he's my son, but he's a heck of a football coach, and we're going to have to fight to keep him.
But they're going to have to fight, because not only is he the offensive coordinator for the most potent offense in college football, but Kendall is well recognized as one of the best recruiters in all of the Big 12 footprint.
Here's the option. And still running. He's knocked down at the 20-yard line as he picks up 7 yards. How does he, year in and year out, continue to get a prolific quarterback?
I think part of it is that system. You know, earlier I talked about the space and the simplicity. And when you come from this family tree, think about all the football that Kendall Briles has been around his whole life. You know, sitting in meetings when his dad was a high school football coach, and riding the bus with him as a high school football coach, and then, you know, becoming a player himself at the University of Texas, and then becoming a coach after a couple of years, and now coaching under his father. He's just been around it his entire life.
Williams dragged down inside the 10. He played safety at Texas and wide receiver at Houston with the Briles. First year as a Baylor offensive coordinator, 8th year on the staff. And another run for the Bears.
They do a great job all the way down to their strength coach, who's, I don't want to just name him strength coach, but Kaz Kazadi is their assistant athletic director. There's Kaz for athletic performance, not just a strength coach. He's the assistant athletic director for athletic performance, and he does a remarkable job with this team.
Nigerian born, over the middle, touchdown. And that touchdown scored by number 98, Trevor Clemens Valdez.
He's the speedier tight end. Juan McGowan's 400 pounds. Trevor Clemens Valdez, 295. He's the split tight end like Jimmy Graham in this offense.
The fluid one.
That's right.
61-31. And the extra point is good. Baylor, the 5th straight game, they've scored over 60 points. And here's the Dr. Pepper one-of-a-kind play of the game.
I guess we could name it the one-of-a-kind player of the game. Stop and start. Corey Coleman. That was his 16th touchdown on the season. 3rd of the day. Our Dr. Pepper play of the game.
You just wonder what kind of numbers he could put up if he had a chance to play the whole game.
That's what's so remarkable is what they do not only in the first half, but their backups go in there and continue to pour it on. Corey, 10 catches, 199, 3 touchdowns. This is going to be an incredibly tough team to beat. We saw TCU last week. Obviously, right now they're one of the undefeateds in the Big 12, along with Oklahoma State. No one in this conference can say, hey, you got the benefit of like missing that team from the other division. Everybody playing everybody. The true round robin. And this year, no shared titles. This team, they play with that chip on their shoulder.
They do.
Last year.
Like I said, Coach Briles, they have taken on the personality of their head coach. Always trying to prove something. He told us that yesterday. And this will be Gibson. Gets outside, got a nice block. Up the sideline, turns his shoulders, tries to cut it back and does. Hopping, wow, he's going to run this one back. Sheldon Gibson, touchdown. West Virginia, 100 yards.
That block you talked about was the true freshman, Javon Durant. Durant is the other returner back? I want you to...
You can hear it from up here.
Here he is, number 5 right here. Boom.
Ooh. Wow. Durant going out with the elbow injury. Back in the game on special teams, and Gibson is a special player.
Boy, Gibson's got some speed. Had that touchdown to open the game on the opening series. A short pass that he turned into a touchdown. Dana Holgerson there with a little congratulations, and the 165-pound Durant with his first pancake block of his career.
Extra point is good. 1:05 to play. 62-38. So while we're waiting for the kickoff, let's take a look at what's coming up for Baylor, the schedule, as they'll take on Iowa State in their next game, and then November 5th, a Thursday night game at Kansas State. I think we'll be down there for that one.
Can't wait to see that one, especially after Kansas State played against TCU a week ago. That Oklahoma game looming, of course, being here in McLean, can be awfully difficult for Oklahoma to beat them here at Oklahoma State. Now that's an interesting game. And then at TCU, everybody around the college football world, not just these two fan bases, not just Big 12 fans, everybody has circled that game the entirety of the offseason. These programs circled that game.
And there's no love lost between the two head coaches, that's for sure. Gary Patterson, Art Briles, fierce competitors. A lot has been said between Fort Worth and Waco over the last year, Joel.
Well, and it's almost like a political debate, you know, when you talk to these coaches, because Art immediately goes to, well, look at the record. Because he's got the wins over TCU, you know, and he's got the back-to-back Big 12 championships. And, of course, Gary talks about having that lead late in this building last year and should have had him, you know, shoulda, coulda, woulda. He gets animated about it. Oh, those are wonderful conversations.
This ball almost dropped as Chris Platt picks it up. Now Platt with running room, and he's got a blocker, and he's got speed, and he's down the sideline, and he's high-stepping, and he's heading to the end zone, and he's down at the 1.
Oh, man. How often do you get two run backs like that inside of 2 minutes? Did he stay in bounds right there? He did. That's where he was getting a little high step, trying not to get tripped up. 92 yards on the return for Platt. I love that. The sideline, Coach Briles, everybody loving it.
So what do you do right here if you're Art Briles? Do you take a knee or do you try to score again?
I kneel on it. He told us yesterday that there's no room in college football. You got to know how to win and all of that. Now, I don't know what he's about to do. His backups are in, and when your backups are in, I think you also have to allow them the opportunity to play football.
Here's a handoff. And it's Terrence Williams. So it looks like they are trying to get into the end zone once again.
You know, if this is Seth Russell and the starting unit, that's a different story. But, you know, when the backups are in, but now he's got the issue where the crowd's going to get behind him, and this is when it becomes more of a statement than it is just allowing the twos to have some experience. That's Isaiah Bruce, number 31, the senior from Jacksonville, Florida.
Former starter for West Virginia. Now he's in a backup position.
He had 94 tackles his true freshman year. Just to give you an idea, he had 16 tackles in his very first start ever at West Virginia. He's only got 1 tackle this entire season. So
scheme change, they told me, and that's why Isaiah was relegated to a backup position.
Went to the 3-3-5, and all of a sudden there wasn't a fit. You know, now that you got the crowd behind it, and now it's become a thing, right? Is he going to score or is he not? I think this is the time to just take a knee and run over and shake a hand.
Remember, Briles and Holgerson coached together at Texas Tech.
He doesn't even have to snap the ball. Doesn't even have to take a knee.
And the crowd not happy, but the players And the coaches understand as Dana Holgerson walks across the field to shake hands with Art Briles. Well-fought game for West Virginia, but just too much Baylor, too many weapons. 62-38 the final. The number 2 team in the nation prevails, their 19th straight win at home. We'll return to wrap things up from Waco right after the